All right. Hey, we are officially live. This is fantastic. So hi, guys. We are so glad that you're here. For those who haven't really heard Karen or I speak before, that's strange. Check the video tab on the side because we're all over the place. But I'm Jenn Barley.
And I'm Karen Sullivan. How's it going, everybody?
And we're excited to be here. So we want to introduce you guys to Angelique. So Angelique is the CEO and owner of The Corporate Agent, and she is our mentor and somebody that we've been working with in different levels throughout the course of our career. And today we had an all-day strategy session with a team of people, and we also meet again tomorrow. And we were saying, Angelique, we have this amazing community of people here who really want to know more about how to get into corporate. And we asked her, could you please come and share some of her wisdom? So we're so happy you're here.
That's awesome. Thanks. So we're also very brain dead at this time of day. So we've been going strong since about 9 a.m. This morning. And as Karen and Jen now know, I don't give any breaks. We just go straight through the whole day. So we're all pretty tired, but we're really excited to be here with all of you. And I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Right now is such a great time to be a coach, because companies are really in just a constant state of disruption and chaos and growth. And really right now is probably the best time that there's ever been to be a coach. You've got the hottest economic market in the US. I'm sure you have people from all over the world, but certainly here in the US, this is one of the best markets we've ever been in. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the job numbers that came out in April with unemployment rate is now at about 3.6%, which is the lowest that it's been since 1969. And there are over 7.5 million job openings right now. So companies are at a point where they can't really hire from the outside. And if they do, they're competing in a talent war. They're having to do everything they can to keep the talent that they have. And they also need to grow their talent that they have, because they can't find the people from the outside. So they need people to really step up into leadership like they never have before, and do it in one of the most difficult times from a complexity perspective. So, there's people are spending over 80% of their time now in meetings. Mm-hmm. They're overworked. They're not taking vacation. The average person has to talk to 10 different people in a day just to get their work done. And I can guarantee that out of those 10 people they have to talk to, they hate at least 5 of them. Yeah. Am I allowed to say that?
Can I say that?
Okay. You can curse.
I can curse. Okay, good.
And the funny thing about that is, like, Karen and I have 2 people to talk to make decisions, right? And sometimes it's a lot.
It's
right?
a lot. It's a lot. So, companies need coaches. But when you look at the other side of the coin, when you look at the state of coaching, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the numbers around what coaches make, and collectively it's not great. The opportunity is huge, but the revenue that the average coach is making is nowhere near reflective of the value that you're bringing to your clients and the value that you could bring to these organizations. There's a real mismatch there between the opportunity and then the reality. And so I wanted to share with you guys a couple of tips to really help you be more effective in this really just insanely noisy climate that's out there. And the first thing, and Jen and Karen can probably talk to this a little bit, but my first rule for coaches is that proximity is power. Now, I know some of you in this community sell to individuals, so you're more in sort of that B2C space. And in that case, content marketing makes a lot of sense. But when you are selling to organizations, if you want the actual company to hire you, that small enterprise, that mid-market company, that corporation to hire you, you have to stop the insanity of the content marketing. We call it in my world the Willy Wonka mobile of online marketing, because you have to fuel it up. You need 20 Oompa Loompas to make it go. And then you finally pull all the gears and the thing goes about 1 mile an hour and it makes a huge mess. And for those of you who know the movie, you'll understand why I'm saying that. So when you're trying to get to the organizations, you don't need to rely on the content marketing, because you already know who those companies are and you know who those decision makers are that you need to get to. So you don't need to really put that sort of, that honey pot out there and hope upon hope that they find you, amongst all the noise that's out there in the market. You need to get, I say, line of sight and, with the decision makers, but essentially I'm saying you need to be in their grill. You need to be in their face. And so that's step number one. If you want to increase your clients, then you have to get proximity with the decision makers. And that really can't be overstated. It is 34 times more effective to make a request of a decision maker in person than via email. Another way to say that is it would take 34 tries via email in order to get the same power of a request that's made if you meet someone in person. And so because of that, what we're really seeing is, people just nurturing to death. You've heard nurture, nurture, nurture. Well, you have watered the garden enough and those poor tomatoes are drowning out there. You have to stop nurturing and you have to start harvesting the relationships that you have. And one of the best ways to do that is to ask for a meeting, is to get to a meeting. So I want to share a couple tips with you about that might be helpful. And the first is, well, what kind of meeting are you asking for? And the worst kind of meeting to ask for is a proctology exam. And
just in case you were curious.
Don't ask for that.
Right.
But this is what that sounds like. That sounds like, hey, listen, I know you're really busy, but could I please come in and ask you some questions and figure out if maybe I poke around enough, I'll find something that hurts so that I can sell you coaching services. Am I allowed to say this? Okay.
Yeah, you can
I'm
say
just
anything.
thinking, I'm just thinking, like, apparently, doctors tell people to cough at this point.
Right, exactly. So, but people will literally ask for a busy decision maker's time so that they can go in and sort of poke around and dig. And we do have a methodology that we teach about needs discovery, but it's later in the process. So this idea of sort of, you got to find what hurts. You have to find the pain point. When you haven't been invited to do that and they haven't expressed anything, just going in on an exploratory mission is not a value add for that decision maker. It's really quite uncomfortable for them because they know that you're just looking for a problem to solve so that you can sell them something, right? So who wants to do that, especially in today's crazy busy world? Who has time for that? And so you get that meeting and then you never get another one because it wasn't very effective. So a much better approach is one of two things. One is to either go the route of educating a decision maker about your services and being really upfront about that we know you might not need our services right this second, but the worst thing to do is to wait until you do have that problem to find an expert. So I'd like to share a little bit about what we do so that when you ever have this specific problem, you have a trusted resource in your Rolodex that can help you. And then the other side of that is a value add meeting where you're actually reaching out to that decision maker to be able to bring in something of value. And we call those bridges because it bridges you to the next place in the relationship. So those are two types of meetings to ask for, but you have to stop the nurture and you really have to move to a harvest place of getting to those busy decision makers today. Do you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm going to say, essentially from all of us working together and such, that's one thing that Karen and I have done is that it's about, one is the face-to-face stuff is huge, right? So number one, all the time, having any kind of meeting, we are doing it in person if at all possible. If it's not possible for whatever reason, then we're moving to Zoom.
Yep.
And if that's not possible, we'll go to the phone. But the more that we can get in front of people, and we were talking about this earlier with our group today, is about how effective it is when people see you, they feel more connected to you, you create a relationship, and that's something that's been super helpful with it. And when we do capabilities briefings or talk to different organizations about what can we do and here's what we offer and here's how to go about it, it's a great way because whether they may say yes, they may say no, but we never hear no. What do we hear, Kara?
Not now.
not now, right?
Yep.
And so it's a key thing to realize, but it's about really having those conversations that
It
are
is.
so important. Just sending email and then email after email, you got to get in there to really say, we understand your business, we understand what you're going through. Here's how coaching or a leadership program can really help.
Yeah, we really, I think the key that you're really getting to is that in our expression is, conversations create cash.
Yep.
Or cash flow, right? Conversations are what lead to that. So a coaching client or an organization doesn't become a client of yours if you're not having a conversation with them. And I think, sadly, one of the things that's really not taught to self-employed experts and why we teach what we teach is because if you don't know how to have those conversations and they feel really uncomfortable for you, you avoid them and you stay in a place where you do nurture people and nurture people and nurture people, just continue to churn out content, hoping that one day they're going to contact you.
Yeah.
And what we have found, and we've been tracking this for years, so we've been doing this since 2010 officially as the corporate agent.
Oh, wow.
So it was 2006 is when I started the business. I started working with small business owners in 2007. And then we became the corporate agent, so almost a decade now.
Good for you.
But one of the things that we have found is if people just go out and if you're just marketing, let's say you go to a conference and you come back from that and you don't know how to get to the conversation or you're just putting out content, typically you're leaving about 90% of your business opportunity on the table. So you'll pick up sort of 10% of the opportunity by just kind of being out there and talking to people, and so will refer someone to you, or someone will come across something and they'll reach out to you, but you're actually leaving about 90 cents out of every dollar on the table. And that really adds up. And so if we can move you to a place where you understand where to find the decision makers and how to get in front of them in a way that creates the right gap so that they actually see that you're bringing a missing link that they don't have versus just more of what they're already doing. And then how to establish that credibility. And then you're able to move into a conversation with them that's just a really empowered conversation versus a sales conversation. And I think that's a big part of it, is that fear of, I don't want to have to sell.
Right.
And they don't want you to sell is the thing. Like, that's not comfortable for them either. But that you can have a conversation in a way where they understand where you could add value, and then roll up your sleeves and co-create an approach with them that isn't just a once and done dead end opportunity that you go in, you coach one person or one team, and then that's it, and you're back outside and you don't have more opportunity with them. The lifetime value of every one of your clients should at least be $100,000, and most of them should be multi-six figures. So that's really, I think, a big part of it. So proximity to the conversations, navigate those conversations in a way that's great, and then from there move to a place where you have lifetime value, and they keep coming to you for help over and over again.
So I want to share just a couple of things that are going on. So a few things. We have Nan, who's chiming in from Ann Arbor. Hello. Angie says the sales process only starts when conversations does. Yeah. Which is great. And Angie is an expert. She's down in Key West and does all sales coaching, which is fantastic, right? Paul has a question here. Well, first, Paul says, I talk to myself every day to make decisions, and I'm such an assoul. But really,
what question do you ask yourself, Paul?
And Paul, you know the question that you ask. Why are we even talking about this? But I digress. Paul has a serious question here. He says, how is exploratory versus here are my services any different in the eyes of the decision maker when they are deciding to see you?
Say that again.
So how is exploratory, poking around to find their pain, versus here are my services different in the eyes of the decision maker?
Okay, that's an awesome question, Paul. And actually, it's a huge difference, because one conversation is going in with the come from of, I want to sell them something, so let me look and find something that I can sell them now. So it's really the come from is from that place. The other place is, I'd love to have a long-term relationship with you. So we're going to share a little bit about what it is that we do, and this is when we can help you. And part of that is typically also sharing some insights with them as well. But the energy of the come from is really a place of, I want to invest in a long-term relationship with you. So there's no energy of trying to sell you something. And that may not sound like a big difference. However, if you've ever had someone reach out to you on LinkedIn, just
Sorry, I know where you're going.
reaching out to you on LinkedIn who's like, oh, we have synergies. Can we get on the phone to see where our synergies are? Or I might have this resource that can help you. Really what you know that they want to do is they want to get you on the phone so that they can sell you something. You can feel it. The second that you read the message, you already know what their come from is. And it actually really, it repels people back. It feels really uncomfortable.
Totally, click ignore.
You click ignore, because you literally recoil from that. Most decision makers though, and a lot of people don't realize this, up to 80% of decision makers are actually very willing to meet with outside experts when they're approached in the right way. So 80% of decision makers inside of organizations will meet with outside experts and service providers, even if they're not ready to buy, if they're approached in the right way. And it's partly because their job as a leader is to understand resources that they have, who's on their team, what budget do they have, what organizations do they need to be a part of, and what outside expertise is there so that they can really put them in the game. And so a good leader who doesn't have their head up their ass knows that they have to constantly be planning ahead and thinking about what they need. And so if you approach it from the place of, I'm not here to sell you something right now, because far be it from me to even know if, first of all, I haven't earned the right yet to even poke around, right? Like you haven't earned the right to do that. And if you come from that place of, I haven't earned the right to do this, but I'd like to invest in this relationship long term, it goes a long way. We talk about that as really kind of step 3 when you're making the ask, of making it as a real true human to human connection. And when you're willing to do that and your energy isn't of like, give me, like, let me sell you something, it changes everything.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think so. And one thing that we know about you, Paul, is that you are all about transparent and being the real deal with no manipulation involved. And so
that's what this is.
That's what this is. It's about being straightforward with, hey, let's co-create a relationship where possibility down the road. It's not from a desperate place, I need your work.
That's right.
So that makes sense.
And I think that that's the big thing, right? Because what we're doing is we're building relationships.
It's all about relationships.
And that's the key.
But the building the relationship from a genuine place versus I want to pretend that I care about the relationship, but are you ready to buy from me yet?
Yeah.
Right? Like, can you buy from me now? They can smell it.
Totally.
And so one of the rules is you go first in terms of investing in the relationship. So you go first and really put something into that relationship. And if you leave every meeting with a decision maker where they're really better off after the meeting than they were before the meeting, then they start to see you as a value add, which makes a big difference.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Good. So just a couple other things coming in here. Angie says people love to buy but hate to be sold. And Sally said, oh, hi, it's Sally from Costa Rica.
Hello, Sally from Costa Rica.
She works with horses and does coaching and all
wow,
sorts
well,
of
horses
stuff.
make a big difference to people being able to realize how they're energetically showing up. That's awesome.
Which is very cool. But she says, yes, people feel your real intention. So approach it with giving and connecting as your real intention, not as a disguised sale. And so part of that is just being authentic and true to what you're doing and why you're doing it. And it's a long-term relationship.
Yeah, it's absolutely about the authenticity.
Very cool. Okay,
awesome.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so we're not going to keep you guys for sure. It's definitely late in the day here, and I know I owe these two wonderful women a glass of well-deserved wine after a really long day. We do have some resources that can help you, though, if you we focus at the Corporate Agent, as the name implies, specifically on helping experts win corporate clients. I will say we define corporate broadly, though. So we look at it as, big, small enterprises, mid-markets, NGOs, nonprofits, colleges, universities, and then the true big corporates. But we have a couple of cool things coming up, and actually one that's going on now. We just did an awesome training on Tuesday of this week. Feels like last week, but it was Tuesday of this week, called the 230% growth plan. And it's looking specifically at 3 levers to pull on in your business right now in this hot market in order to grow by 230% before the end of the year. And you can actually get access to it from our website. There's a pop-up that'll come up. So our website is thecorporateagent.com, And so there's a pop-up that'll come there. My team's also telling me you could do thecorporateagent.com/230 growth. So the numerals 230 growth. And I think that training is up and available through Saturday night, Jesse? Sunday night at 9 o'clock. But it was probably one of the most powerful trainings that we've ever done, because we actually got the calculator out at the beginning of that to really show people how to figure out the growth in their business. And people don't sit down and I know we don't like math. I know none of us are in the bit. We're not our CPAs and accountants, but you pull that calculator out and really look at the growth. So that's up there. The other thing that we have going on is something that I never do, which is a small workshop that's happening in Atlanta in mid-June. It's Friday, June 14th. And it's about, we have space for 27 people. We kept it small because I'm going to be in Atlanta for another event. And it's called the 500K Expert. And that's the website, the 500kexpert.com. And I think we have about 5 or 6 seats left in that workshop. And it's going to be me and about 27 people, I think, just rolling up our sleeves and building out their growth plan to 500K as an expert. And for a lot of coaches, that's about 10 times growth, because most coaches are about that 50K level, but it's going to be all day with me in Atlanta. So would love to see you there. But if nothing else, please take advantage of the 230 growth plan that's up, because it's really powerful digging into these levers that you can pull on in your business. And one of the things we showed is how you could go from about $40,000 to about $163,000 a lot faster than you realize that you can. By just adding a couple of clients and doing some small tweaks in your business. So I don't want to see you leaving that money on the table. The work you guys that you're doing as coaches is so important right now. The market is just really in desperate need of leadership and communication and people skills.
Very cool. And Jesse's been posting those links, so you can just find them in the comments to be able to click through to be able to get. How long was the training on Tuesday? Like a length duration?
It was long. I'm going to be honest. It was a 3-hour training.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 3 hours.
I figured it would be, just because that's how you roll.
That is how I roll.
And but I wanted people to know that, because this was just a pop in, and the truth is because we are going to probably go have a drink.
We are.
And so we just want to do the quick little pop in to give you sort of a taste and an idea of who Angelique is and the kind of expertise that she brings to the table that we feel, obviously Karen and I feel super valuable, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And we know that for our community of coaches, how important it is for you to be able to share your work with the world. And it's about trying to figure out other ways and new ways and different approaches. And you guys know that Karen and I love the corporate work that we do, and that these tips and these ideas is always about constantly being able to get out there and get the work so that you can keep doing what it is that you love.
Keep doing it.
Anything else going on with you over there, Sullivan?
I'm just thrilled to be here. This is great. And I love that all these people are popping in. Thank you very much, Sarah, for saying I look young.
Oh, did you see that?
I did.
I know someone's like, Karen, she looks great. She looks young. And nobody's like, how come Jen has white hair?
No, nobody is
changing it.
That's because we changed the contrast of the
So
wall.
here's the funny thing, you guys. So obviously I did a double process, like bleach, look at my hair. So it's a little different than you know. So we were up on a different background. It had this whole white background behind us. I just looked dead. I looked like I had no hair. And while that would be entertaining, we thought it'd be very distracting. And so we had to move to the gray background. So that's a little bit behind the scenes.
So we're all kind of like squished.
I know, we're
back here
squished together and stuff. But here's the other thing, you guys, if you wanted to just pop in any additional questions or thoughts, these are great conversations for us to carry forward in the Facebook group, just to like get ideas from each other. Where are you finding proximity? And, Toku, who is another Floridian here, he was asking a little bit like, how do you know when you just meet somebody what to do? So we'll continue some of those conversations and people can share best practices, but the 230% success growth part that Angelique with the 3 hours is going to be awesome. And maybe our friend Barbara Alexander is going to see you in
That's
Atlanta.
awesome.
So
We're
we've already
so excited.
given her the scoop on that, and maybe a few people will join Barbara. But
That's
this was
awesome.
great.
Well, Barbara, I
Angelique.
look forward to seeing you there.
That's good. So anything else, or are we done?
No, I think this is great. And guess what, guys?
Fun time.
Oh, yeah. Karen, can you
gonna
please do
wrap
it?
it up. That's it. And we're going to land this plane.
I know. Karen always has to do the wrap up because I will keep talking like now, and she'll just be
Okay.
like, let's wrap it up. So anyway, you
Bye,
guys,
everybody.
thanks so much for being a part of this, and we will see you
Bye, guys.
around. Bye.